Good morning. Welcome to subramani.com. Please click on the bell icon and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Today I thought I'll talk to you a little about retirement, in the sense that is retirement a sum of money or is it an age? Do you retire because you have X amount, or do you retire because you're age 60 or 45 or 50, whatever is the age at which you want to retire? So I said, let us look at retirement generically and then specifically for an individual. And I thought, what better place to start than my book? You've seen this book? So let me go to the first chapter, where I start by saying, is retirement a sum of money or is it an age at which you want to retire? By most common definitions, retirement means you turn 60 and your company tells you, don't come to work from tomorrow and you're retired. Right? That's the definition. That's not always true. Retirement could be temporary. Somebody could be taking a 3-year break. Somebody could be taking a 2-year break. Somebody could be taking a 1-year break. All that is retirement, albeit we don't call it retirement, we call it, you can't imagine a 27-year-old girl saying, I'm retiring to have a baby, right? So we don't use retirement with that meaning, but largely retirement means when you have your expenses but you don't have your income. So it's a temporary retirement. We call it sabbatical, we call it maternity leave. They all mean the same thing, right? So 6 months maternity leave is called maternity leave. 3-year maternity leave is called what? It's not called maternity leave. It is, oh, she's taken time off to be with the baby or whatever. So if you take time off to be with your parents, what is it called? Right? So you will have to do that. Increasingly, people in their 40s and 50s may have to take leave or a temporary retirement to be with their parents. Maybe they need some nursing, maybe they need some help. So let us look at little more concepts about a little more about retirement before we get into actual retirement. The next question today when you talk to people is, but Subra, will we ever retire? Won't we work permanently? Yeah, that's what we all desire. We all desire to be wearing our boots till the last day, and I want to work into my 80s, 90s. I want, Buffett is working, Charlie Munger is working. Okay, one is 90, one is 95, and it's great that they're working. Does it mean all of us will have a choice? What about those who are in service? What are you going to do? Who's going to keep you employed beyond the age of 60? Extremely doubtful. Yes, if you're on your own, you have a choice. But even on your own, you have to remember that a surgeon whose hands are trembling can't be employed when his hands are trembling. So there is something called a voluntary retirement and there is something called a compulsory retirement. None of us wish that we retire. We see bank chairmen not wanting to leave when they're 70. We see businessmen going into their office even into their 80s and 90s. Even for people where senility has set in, people with dementia also going to office, not being able to recognize but still going to office. Not all of us will have the choice. Somebody will tell us that's enough, okay, and you will have to stay back. You will not be able to work during that period. So will we ever retire? Ideally, maybe we don't want to retire, but 65 to 68 could be a cutoff when society may not be able to find very useful work for you, definitely not gainful employment. When I'm saying retire, I mean gainful employment. If you're working somewhere for the physical needs and all that, that's different, but will they use your services and pay you something? Something, not even commercial rates, not what your best on salary, but will they pay you something at all? That is what is called employment. That I don't think will happen beyond the age of 68 in India. It happens in the US, people work into their 70s. I don't think it's going to be very common in India. It's a young country. Very little population of ours is beyond the age of 70. So, perish the thought. You're not going to have money. Proper employment being paid beyond the age of 70. So, when can we retire? What is your cutoff for retirement? There are many thumb rules for retirement. One thumb rule largely is If you have 30 times your expenses, you can retire. However, that was a good rule for people who retired at 65 and died in 1995. So it was assumed that you will have 30 years of service, 30 years of retired life, and therefore you needed 30 years expenses. That is where this formula was derived from. But if you are retiring at 45, will 30 years income be enough? I doubt it. Not in a country like India, where we have still not conquered inflation as well as we wish we could, right? So I don't think 40 times, 30 times will be enough. So let us say 40 times, which means a person who is retiring at the age of 60, let us assume he has 10 lakhs of annual expenses, he will need 4 crores. So what is your cutoff? Well, if you go by thumb rules, yes, 40 times, provided you know how much you're going to spend when you're 60. When you're 40, to be able to estimate how much you're going to spend at 60 is difficult. So there's another general law from the US which we could import, we like it or don't like it. It says one house plus $1 million. One house plus $1 million as of now means approximately 8 crore rupees, which is double of what we estimated, right? So let us say a 50-year-old or a 52-year-old has 8 crores in place. Can he retire? Answer is yes. He has enough money to retire. Now the question to ask is, does he have enough activities to retire to? Right? You cannot retire at 50 just because you want to retire. Right? Sometimes it's a temporary phase. You work very hard, you've done a deal, you're tired, and you come home and you say, I wish I were retired. You don't really mean it. What you want is you need a 3-day break or a 5-day break, right? This compulsory 1-month break which has happened to us of a lockdown, I don't think everybody is very excited that they're going to be at home all day long, right? They're not even allowed to go out. Assuming even you are allowed to go out, I think many of us are yearning to go back to office and start a regular life. So this is not really helping. This is a very good prelude to what could happen for people who are about to retire and say, oh my God, is it going to be so tough? Yes, it's going to be tough if you don't have hobbies. So when can we retire has to be handled in 2 ways. What will we do in retirement and how much money do we need? How much do we need? Clearly, it is an overkill saying you need $1 million, but that's a formula which many people are using because you don't know how long you will live, what will be the rate of inflation, what will be the cost of support services, we don't know. So better to err on that side than err on saying, oh my God, I've got 5 more years to go, maybe I've got 3 more years to go and I don't have enough money left, right? That's more scary. So you will always picture a little on the higher side. So $1 million doesn't look too bad. It is definitely more than adequate. You don't have to worry whether it is adequate. Of course, assuming that you do your 40 times expenses and then you arrive at 1 million. If your expenses are 5 lakhs a month, which you find people with a lot of support services, servants, etc., which means it is 60 lakhs a year. 60 lakhs multiplied by 40 is 24 crores. We are not talking of people like that. We are talking of people who spend 5 lakhs a year, not 5 lakhs a month, right? So these answers 2 questions. Can you retire and what will you retire to? What are your hobbies, right? Those questions have to be answered, but that's for a different day. Now the question is, how do you manage your money to your advantage? Absolutely no doubt, you have to learn how to manage your money. Don't get into, I don't understand, so I keep all my money in savings bank account or bank fixed deposits or endowment plans. Just doesn't work. Your money needs to be kicked in the butt and made to work harder. So I see a 42-year-old with a 1 crore salary who says he can't live for 2 months on his savings. To me, he deserves a kick in the butt. A 52-year-old with less than 10% of his money in equities, the others stuck in bad real estate deals, and then having the usual PPF, own PF kind of stuff, he cannot retire unless he has 8 crores. Those are his expenses. Expenses were high. So the question is, what do you do to put all this into action? If you're young, start early. But if you're already 52, 53, it doesn't matter. You still need to be in equities. over the next 20-30 years you need to worry about inflation. Why is this emphasis on equities? Because the only asset class which is going to protect you against inflation. So if you have a corpus of 6 crores, out of which 50 lakhs is in equities, it's not going to help. Even if that equities gives a fabulous return, it's not going to help, because your overall return depends on your asset allocation. You need to have enough money in equities which performs well for you to get a good overall return. So 52, maybe it's too late. 55, maybe it's too late to increase your equity asset change your asset allocation. But still, you may have to get rid of some real estate which is giving you very inefficient returns, to equities which is giving you superior to real estate kind of returns, right? So how does one retire successfully? Well, visualization helps. When you're in your 30s, 40s, you really don't think too much about retirement. 40s maybe yes, because some friend, colleague, elder brother or somebody has retired whom you know, and you say, oh, what will happen to me in my retirement? Visualization helps. So sit and think, what will it be, what will you do, what will be your hobbies. 40s and 50s are a great time to be getting together with all your school friends, college friends, finding out what they're doing, networking. Today your social media allows you to do all that. So do all that, do your visualization, see where you want to be, start planning for it now. 40s or 50s, not the time when you go and buy a senior citizen home, but it is time when you see people moving in. There are senior citizen homes where the average age is 70, there are senior citizen homes where the average age is 80. Right? So you have to decide at which age, which retirement home do you want to be in, right? But you can start thinking about those things. Visualize, talk to your first cousins, talk to your other elders in the family, neighbors, somebody whom you've known for 20 years. If you've known somebody for 20 years and when you turn 50, that person would be 70 and that guy would be shopping now for a senior citizen home where he wants to move in with his wife. So talk to him, those things will help. Then the classic question of, can I afford to retire? Don't ask yourself that question in your 40s. It's too early. But then in your 40s, you think of your target being $1 million US and start working towards it. Make sure that you prioritize retirement over children's education. Children can borrow and repay. You cannot borrow for your retirement. So all the more reason. So question is, can I afford to pay? What will be my expenses? It's very difficult to visualize your expenses at 85 when you're just 70 years of age, or when you're just 40 years of age. It's difficult to identify your expenses at 85, even at the age of 70. Yes, you're seeing some friend's father or something. Find out what it costs. It's very expensive living in a senior citizen home where you pay for a lot of expenses. Find out how much money you really need. So a person who's spending maybe 30,000 for a couple at home may end up paying 60-70,000 per couple in a senior citizen home, where you have to do much less than what you have to do at home. But yeah, senior citizen homes are a luxury. Don't think it's a painful place. It's good, lot fun, but you have got to pay. You got to be able to earn it. If they talk of a 20 lakh deposit or a 50 lakh deposit and 30,000 per month per person, you are talking of big money and inflation. You need equities to combat inflation even after you retire. So no question of asking for a 52-year-old or a 55-year-old, should he be in equities? Of course he should be in equities. But in your 40s and 50s, it's a good time to estimate whether you're going there. Find out what you have invested for retirement, not what you've invested for the children's education and marriage, etc., for your own lifestyle. I'm not talking about that. Just see how much of your investments has been earmarked for retirement. Then see how much you're going to contribute per month in an SIP or something like that, which will grow to an X amount. Let's keep the same target, $1 million by the age of 60. What happens if you don't have enough? There is nothing to panic. You may retire a little later. You may retire at 68 instead of retiring at 60. That's also possible. But target that amount. See how do you reach that. After that, you will need a proper retirement plan, which you could make yourself. There is a copy of that available various places. You could go to Google, you could ideally go to an advisor who is about 45-50 years of age, who handles retirement. There are specialists who do that. Go to such people. It is nice to have an older person handling it, but I know younger people also are doing a very competent job, right? Why are we worried so much about having money in equities? Because we still have not tackled inflation. We will talk about inflation in a separate video. I don't want to bring that in here. But remember, you need to be in equities. You need to get outsized return. You need to understand that you could retire at 45 and live till the age of 105, which means 50 years in retirement. Making your money last 50 years is not easy, especially for a generation which at 45 years or 42 years earning a crore a year says they cannot live for more than 2 months without a salary. That's tough. You've got to learn how to live for 50 years with just one box which you have created. Thank you.